Now we're talking about estate planning and how you can get started. Here to break it down for us is Andre L. Pennington with Pennington Law. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, so you're an estate planning attorney and a licensed financial professional. Is that common?
Actually, it's not common at all. I was kind of surprised when I thought of it. How it came about was I had a client that took significant losses, and I'd noticed a pattern. I said, I really should know this stuff really well instead of just referring it out. And when I started looking at it, it's very rare, actually.
Okay, so you just shared that story, but why did you decide to blend estate planning and financial services? So you wanted to learn more information, but you even took it a step further.
Yeah, so I wanted to know more so I can know, hey, where am I referring my clients? Like, are they doing the right things? But because I was learning, I decided just to get licensed.
Okay.
And once I got the license, it clicked in my mind. I understand this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I deal in estates all day long, and I see what happens after the fact. So it's a perfect blend.
A perfect blend. And how is this beneficial to your clients?
It's beneficial to my clients because your estate's like a three-legged stool, right? You have the transfer of wealth, which is what I was specializing in. When I pass, how does this move on to my family?
Okay.
Then you have taxes, right? How's that going to affect this transfer? And then you have the actual financial services while you're alive, right? And that impacts everybody. When you have that three-legged stool, it can carry a lot of weight. If one of the legs is missing, it's wobbly or it falls over. So when I'm looking at it as a whole, depending on age, situation, circumstances, I can put together a comprehensive plan instead of just looking at one little piece and then hoping that the next professional that comes in is going to get it right.
Okay, so you do it all.
I do it all.
You do it all there. All right. So why is it important to avoid financial losses in retirement?
Yeah, so going back to that original story, that was something that I saw over and over again, where the market would be down and someone would lose a significant portion of their retirement. And I started thinking that was strange. So it's important to avoid losses in retirement because we're depending on that money.
Right, later.
Or our family's depending on that money later as well. So what we do is in life, we want to gather and build wealth.
Yeah.
And when I say wealth, that could be millions or hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. But we're trying to accumulate, and then we want to protect it when we're retired and we really need it.
Okay, that's very important, right?
It's very important.
Woo, okay, so what role does estate planning play in this process of all of that?
Yeah, so when it comes to estate planning, we've spent the majority of our lives working to build wealth so that we can have security. Well, estate planning is transferring that wealth from, hey, I'm alive, and now, as we all know, we pass, and making sure our family gets the benefit.
Okay.
I came up from a family that didn't have very much money, and historically there was no transfer to the next generation. So when you actually have something to transfer, it helps your next generation have a better life.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of a head start or have a little bit of a cushion. And that part to me is so important. So that's how estate planning comes in. It makes sure that you're not wasting money in terms of fees, court costs, and taxes.
So basically, you're setting up the next generation for success.
Absolutely.
Right? I love that. Okay, so what is your goal with your clients?
My number one goal with my clients is to get them on a path of success. It takes one person in a family to change the entire dynamic.
Yeah.
One person that can understand money. One person that can understand the value of a wealth transfer. So my goal for my clients is to make sure they're that one person so that we can create generational wealth.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing all of that information with us this afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And if you want to learn more, you can go ahead and visit pennlawaz.com or by calling the number there on your screen.